Nintendo is struggling to sell third-party games on the Switch too, and we've got a new handheld entering the ring. Hi, I'm Justin with Handheld Headquarters. We'll talk about this and more in today's Daily Bite of Handheld and Gaming News. Right, Drogo? He's a good boy. It looks as though, despite having some great titles, the third-party selection for Nintendo Switch 2 is not selling as well as expected. This was reported on by GoNintendo.com. They have a few speculations as to what the cause is, including stiff competition provided by Mario Kart World, backward compatibility, and the biggest deal, if someone were to ask me, keycards. Here you go, buddy. They look like a standard cartridge, but there is no game data there. The only thing the cart has is a license key that unlocks a download. Not only is that a waste of material, but it is no different than buying a digital game, except you still need your keycard to play, thus making a digital download superior. Customers generally buy cartridges for the ownership of their game that nobody can revoke, and because they don't want to have to fill up their storage installing. In a collector's perspective, that game is only usable as long as the store server is running. And as we saw with the Wii U, that will shut down and access will be lost. I think a lot of people understand this when they see that label on the packaging and move on. PlayAsia, a major online game retailer, added to the conversation, presented an article with a tweet saying, "People want new, hyped launch titles, and there aren't a lot yet. This is also increasingly normal for a console launch window. We all know Nintendo first party drives adoption, and Nintendo knows this too." And, quote, "Indie to AA developers and games will likely play a big role in making it worth collecting on the new console over time, much like we observed in our historical sales data of Switch 1 physical games. Audiences haven't seen what indies are cooking yet to properly judge." And, quote, "We are only a few weeks into this launch, and things will smooth out. But if something needs a course correction, it has to be those keycards. They are not a consumer-friendly precedent." Let's hop back over to America and talk about a rumor with Xbox. Tom reported that a leaker known as X-1 has stated that Xbox is working with Xenia to bring original Xbox and Xbox 360 emulation to PC in a program internally dubbed Xbox Classics. This was pretty quickly refuted by Windows Central executive editor Jez Corden on his Twitter, stating, "Xbox is gunning to bring Xbox games to more devices, but this particular scenario isn't a thing at the moment." And, quote, "As cool as that would be, it is known that Xbox already has people in-house to do emulation, and they have their own software for this. So to hire a community emulator developer does seem a bit redundant." If you were one of my viewers for yesterday's bite, you may recall that there was a tease involving the Trimui brick and metal housings. That was confirmed, and the devices, being called the Trimui Brick Hammer, are already available to pre-order. These things are only $10 more than a standard Trimui brick, so if that is something you like, it is not a crazy ask from them. Aluminum shelled products tend to carry a high cost, as we have seen on Boxy Pixel with Game Boy shells. Trimui brick is a very well-loved device in the community, so despite me not having experience with it, I would say that it's a safe bet if you want to pick one of these up. Some people say that metal shelled devices can be too heavy. They don't feel the same, and I know that some people complain that buttons kind of scratch up on the side. That is something you might want to consider. If you have any opinions on metal handhelds, let me know in the comments. We can discuss this. Now, how about we jump up in price bracket about 10x? It's time to talk about a device that Retro Game Core was able to showcase on his channel yesterday. The OneX Player G1 is a new small laptop like many GPD devices. What's interesting about this one is that the keyboard lifts out to reveal a hidden gamepad. The screen size is 8 inches, and you can choose between a Ryzen 8840 CPU or the latest flagship AI370H from AMD. The site also mentions Intel Core Ultra 7 as an option, but I didn't see that as a purchase choice. The thing looks cool, but with as much power as it's carrying, I have a hard time believing that its 8-inch form factor will not become a space heater with use. There's a link below to the Retro Game Core video and the product page, so check it out. Okay, so we've covered Linux, we've covered Windows. Now let's talk about Android. Retro Handhelds introduced a new contender in the Android handheld space. This company is called Mangmi, and they have a device coming called the Mangmi Air X. It looks to be aiming for the mid-range Android spot, sporting a Snapdragon 662, Adreno 610, and 4 GB of LPDDR4X. It has Wi-Fi 5 and a 5000 mAh battery. So that 662 is an older chip, but it's a Snapdragon. They are known to have very high compatibility with many emulators, and also that Adreno opens it up to turnip drivers. This device is using Android 14 for its OS, which is interesting. Most use Android 13 or 10 if you go older. I'm not sure how that changes anything, but it is worth noting. Seems to be shaped like a Retroid Pocket 4 with a bit of a grippier back end. Honestly, if the price is right, this has the makings to be a nice handheld in its own category. It comes in black, white, and a retro Game Boy coloring. I'll be sure to keep you posted as more information is made available. Yesterday brought us an update on the Switch 2, putting at version 20.1.5. The update notes just give the standard increased stability jargon. Limited Run is reported that it has resolved compatibility issues with its own Carbon engine. This is great news as it shows Nintendo is working to make the Switch 2 a fully backward compatible device. And Limited Run games can still be playable as the Carbon engine is an in-house game engine specifically designed for porting classic games to Switch. For today's community highlight, I want to bring something we have talked about before. I have mentioned in a previous segment emuready.com and its function in finding compatibility reports based on your own device and software. However, being in beta, it only had placeholder stats and information. Well, I'm happy to report that the website is officially running, and I have personally confirmed with Productivity that the real stats are showing up on the site. As of their response on Reddit, the site is over 500 user submissions, so go take a look at it, and if you're so inclined, contribute to the database. Nothing's better in this community than us users working together to help each other out. Now finally, for the on the radar bit, I want to mention something that seems to be missed by a lot of people. Amazon Prime regularly offers groups of free-to-keep games for Prime members. Chances are you or someone you know has a Prime membership. If that is the case, you need to jump over there and see what's on offer. I have a link below. Right now, you can claim Dungeon of the Endless from Amazon Games, Fate Undiscovered Realms for GOG, Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3 Remastered for GOG, Saints Row 2 for GOG, and many, many more. The GOG offerings are particularly great in my opinion because they are all DRM free, and if you play on a Steam Deck, you can use Heroic Launcher to access your GOG and Epic accounts. Get those games while you can. I'll be sure to keep you updated when more are added to the list. And with all that being said, that is going to be it for today's Daily Bite of Handheld and Gaming News. As always, please like, subscribe, and discuss anything in the comments section. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday. Take care.